Hi everyone, my name is Steve Lawson.
My name is Anya Fufana.
We are here live at our global headquarters in Waukesha, Wisconsin, scanning on the SIGNA Architect today on our new software that we call MR30. This software has some expansion of capabilities of the Air Recon DL feature. A lot of customers have commented and really said that this is a huge innovation for them, allowing them to scan much higher resolution and faster scanning. Previous software revisions were only compatible with 2D imaging, but we've now expanded this out to 3D imaging as well as Propeller. In this video, we would love to share that with you guys.
Yeah, and we have a subject on the table. We already ran the localizer in the brain. And now what I'm going to show you here, a T2 propeller scan, where I'm going to apply Recon DL. So as a reminder, Recon DL is applied here in the details page. You can choose between different strengths. I'm going to choose high, which will be 75 noise reductions and reconstruct the images with the 75% less noise. And just to point out here some parameters, we will cover the entire brain, 4mm slices, and we will truly acquire a 512 metric size. So you can see here the pixel size will be 0.5 by 0.5, and scan time will be only 2 minutes because we apply a Recon DL, so we don't have to read out a lot of number of averages, and we can have a high acceleration factor on top of that.
Yeah. So if you didn't have a Recon DL, right now this particular acquisition is a 1.5 next scan. You're most likely going to, well, I think that's what you've got here is the next sequence. You're probably going to do this at least 2.5 or possibly even more on the number of necks here that you've got selected. That will dramatically increase the scan time when you don't have a Recon DL.
Yeah, in order to have good image quality without a Recon DL, we always have to lengthen the scan time by adding some number of averages or reducing the acceleration.
Yeah. One other option I think people were doing before is they would reduce the resolution, right? So reducing the resolution improves the signal, but the quality of the image is obviously not what you want for that. So we want to acquire true 512 imaging, and this gives us this capability here.
Then the next sequence we are going to plan is Recon DL on 3D application. So software-wise, it will look exactly the same. So we have again the Recon DL strength drop-down menu here located, where we can choose between these different lengths, and we are going to run that on a 3D cube, which is our 3D FSE sequence, which we can have in all different contrast. The example we are going to show you will be a T2 contrast. We are also suppressing some fluid, so it will be a flare sequence. On top of it, we do a spectral fat saturation, where we, before Recon DL, would maybe have a little bit more conservative pixel size, around 1.3, 1.3 slice thickness, in order to keep the scan time reasonable for your patient. But here, applying Recon DL, I'm going to have an isotropic voxel 1 by 1 by 1, and I'm staying with my scan time under 4 minutes.
So Cube is, as Anya mentioned, compatible with fast spin echo base, which gives you the capabilities to run T1, proton density, T2 flare, and also a Cube DIR scan too. So that one's really interesting because you can suppress the CSF and the white or gray matter. So those are historically have been noisy. So you're suppressing a lot of different tissues there with that. So sometimes the resolution would be low, trying to get some way to find signal there. But with this, we're able to maintain very high spatial resolution and then not be so concerned about that anymore.
So let's go ahead and check out the first images we acquired. So here we have the propeller sequence, which was done with a pixel size 0.5 by 0.5. And we do have a slice thickness of 4mm. So scan time was really nice and reasonable with a 2 minute. Even if the patient would move slightly, we wouldn't worry about that because Propeller is helping me with the motion correction here. And maybe that is really now the interesting part, that we can zoom in that high because we have such a high-res image.
Yes.
With the Recon DIR, right? We can look into all the details here, and since it was truly acquired with 512, I can zoom in as much as I want. I'm not scared that I break the resolution at any point. So really looking at adding a Propeller to our portfolio helps us in your daily business, because we all know some patients just moving on the table. Now we have all contrast in Propeller available. So if you see that your patient is having the tendency to move, you can just apply Recon DL to your Propeller sequences, no matter if it's brain or even outside of the brain. Shoulder is a good example where we would apply a Propeller most frequently too. So it helps you a lot to have the patients in and out as fast as possible and have resolutions we were not able to scan before in reasonable scan times.
Yeah, Anya mentioned, shoulder. It's a really great place to use that. I think some patients, due to body habitus and shape, some larger men tend to breathe really heavy in their chest. You can see a lot of motion when you don't use Propeller, but having that technique available can correct for all of those types of motions that you would see. Even some of the physiologic motion that you would have with blood flow can often goes through the image on conventional 2D FSE scanning, but Propeller does a really great job on correcting for that as well.
Maybe just here to get one example up and running, where if we wouldn't have Recon DL available, how long the scan time would be extended and how the image quality would look like. So on the left-hand side is the current example where we ran the 512 matrix, 4mm slice thickness, and a scan time of 2 minutes. But on the right-hand side, you see we've done that scan prior already, where we've scanned the same resolution, 4mm slice thickness, but we added some number of averages to balance out that we couldn't apply Recon DL in the right example. So we still...
You needed signal from somewhere, right? So you have to increase that. So without DL, that's what we're demonstrating here, is the scan times are going to be much longer without that. So it's a great feature to be able to improve your throughput and improve your productivity.
And you still see, I would still go with the image on the left-hand side, right? Even if adding a minute of scan time. So just the benefit of having Recon DL. Awesome. Okay. So here are the cube flare images just pulled up. Less than 4 minute scan time with an isotropic 1mm voxel size here. So we see really, really nice brain images, and even the reformats look great due to the isotropic voxel, right? So we have a coronal view here is available as well. So the actual view.
Yeah, the reconstructions are much sharper now with their Recon DL, so that's a huge benefit to using Recon DL, as well as reducing some of the noise. But the reconstruction definitely improves with this software level of MR30. So that's what we wanted to share with you, just kind of a brief introduction here of some of the new features on MR30 and the expansion of Recon DL into this. So Recon DL expansion is going to be available across the entire portfolio of our 1.5T and 3T products. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we're going to do a second video kind of following up with some more features of Recon DL as well. So it's quite extensive. And if you are watching us there, then make sure you check out the second video. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.